Almost all of us have been ghosted before. Whether it was a job interview, you thought you nailed it. You got all the qualifications, the experience. They asked questions, you had already rehearsed the answers, and you relayed them exactly as you had hoped. You go on a date, and you think this is the one. Like, we connected, there was chemistry, and then you keep waiting for a reply from them afterwards, and you can't even get, 3 dots on the text. They're not saying anything, just silence. Or you've had a friend before where you thought, well, everything was going great. Maybe there was a tension or whatever, but then you figured it out and it's gone. Have you ever been ghosted by God? He commands us to pray. He tells us, ask, seek, knock. He says in Jeremiah 33:3, call to me and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. So he tells us to call out to him, and he says that he's going to tell us stuff, but then sometimes you cry out to him and it's like he's not even there. Psalm 22, that's where David's at. About 1,000 years later, we hear Jesus quote this psalm on the cross when he says, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani. It's Hebrew and Aramaic mix of, my God, why have you forsaken me? What do you do when God is silent? Let me read you that psalm. In Psalm 22, it says this at the beginning, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me, so far from my cries of anguish? My God, I cry out by day, but you don't answer. By night, I find no rest, ghosted by God. My God, where are you? You're crying out for a baby and you can't get pregnant. You're crying out for a job and no one's calling you back. You're crying out for healing, for reconciliation of marriage, and silence. How is it that God commands us to pray and then he has nothing to say? How is it that we've got all the questions, he has all the answers, and we come to him and then it's quiet? What's God doing in the silence? Something happens between verse 2 and verse 3 in Psalm 22. He says, my God, why have you forsaken me? I keep crying out, you don't answer. Day and night I ask, no answer. But then in verse 3 he says, yet you're enthroned as the Holy One. And he starts going from his complaints to focusing on God's character. And this psalm ends in praise, but at nowhere does it seem to indicate that anything changed in David's circumstances. Here's why: because in the silence, God is doing a work in us. His silence is not his absence. His silence is this space where he's fulfilling his promises like Philippians 1:6, that he who began a good work, not around you, in you, will be faithful. So there's something that changed not around David, there's something that changed in David. That he shifted from complaint to character, and then he ends in praise. And what we see is this pattern in the Bible, where there's silence and God's presence. That leads us to praise. What happens in verse 11 is significant. David doesn't cry out for relief, he cries out for relationship. He says, do not be far from me. And so he's praying for proximity. Oftentimes in the silence, God strips all of our performance, and what he develops in us is an intimacy with him. Have you ever been ghosted by God? If so, it's probably a sign that he's at work, doing the work he promised to do in you. Is God being silent right now? I'd love to hear some comment in the comments there, and we'll pray for you. Anybody who puts a comment in there, we're going to pray for you. Appreciate you. If you like this information, it was helpful to you, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and let us know if there's any topic you want covered or anything you'd like to hear about on this channel. We're a new channel. Please share it with some friends. We appreciate you. And you know what we want for you? We want you to be unshakable internally, and you can live on mission. Until next time, be unshakable and on mission. See ya.